The cloud. All right, welcome everyone to our Team Elite Team Huddle Wednesday. Good morning, good afternoon. It's afternoon here where I am in Maryland, and I'm sitting actually here with Lincoln, this crazy sheepadoodle. So if you guys see me over here going like this, I'm not weird. It's just he wants attention, and so I got to give it to him, or this is going to be super awkward for all of us. We got Trish on as well. Trish, welcome. Appreciate you being on. Let me go ahead and make you a co-host as well. And so maybe we can tackle all this together. I definitely have some stuff that I would like to touch on and help with, but there's a lot of talent from Rubies and Above on our Zoom today. So definitely don't want to discount anyone. And so if you guys have anything that you'd like to add as well, I wanted to touch personally on exposures and follow-ups, which I think that we can all do a better job at, no matter who you are, regardless of if you're brand new or if you're at the top of the pay plan, and how to really build a big business through divorcing the results and really marrying the activity. So let me go ahead and mute that. And if you guys are hopping on and you're not going to speak, if you could just make sure you stay on mute, that'd be great. And then Ruth and obviously Trish and Rob, I appreciate you guys being on and being able to chime in as well with anything that you'd like to cover. So, but first things first, I mean, I'll just real quickly share my Dun & Bradstreet, if you will. So we're not complete strangers. I know a lot of you, but not everyone. So this is not my first go around in network marketing, believe it or not. It's funny, we had a bronze and above meeting last night with Muzaffar, and he was talking about just being grateful for where we are, and obviously, the integrity of the people that are in our company. And while things aren't necessarily perfect in any company, if you find one, please let me know. But I had been searching for that company since November 8th, 2008, when I was actually introduced to the profession of relationship marketing. And so it's being introduced to Isaac and Jesse and Muzaffar and people like Trish and Rob and Ruth and so many people on this call today. It's really helped us find a home within relationship marketing. We got started in secret back in I think it was 2011, I want to say, which is pretty crazy. It's funny, I laugh at the shipping challenges today internally, not externally, but back then, it was pretty insane. There was body butter that was frozen being shipped to Canada. So imagine you guys, you Canadians, getting your body butter and it's rock solid, it's pretty crazy, and things were definitely challenging, but obviously, through challenges come successes, right? So, my wife and I, when we got started in the company, we went diamond in 7 months. Sounds a lot better than it actually is, because back then, it was pretty crazy. We didn't have the technology we have today. We weren't building online like we're doing today. And so even though we have this homebound business or home-based business, it's not homebound, right? So, for Lauren and I, when we got started, it was literally the basics of making a list, right? Which is the basis of any business nowadays. But also, calling these people really to set up, whether you were meeting with them or for me, some of my appointments, I was just dropping in on people. I'm like, hey, Ruth, are you home? And Ruth would be like, yeah, I'm home. Why? What's up? I know, I'm at your door. Open up. So there was a ton of urgency to build the business. And a little bit about my backstory. I don't know if you guys know, but I was in the mortgage industry previously, and I know people nowadays in the mortgage industry are they're living their best lives. Because everyone's using their house as an ATM machine. I was just charging them an ATM fee, and never paid for a referral or a lead. It was all, people it was relationship marketing, if you will. It wasn't multi-level, unfortunately. But the housing market fell out and my income fell out. It was crazy. I was looking for extra income. I definitely didn't think that it would be, network marketing. I for sure didn't think it would be skincare. I'm a guy, and it's still uncomfortable to this day for me to talk about skincare. little did I know the laws about duplication, to where nowadays it actually plays in your favor if you can't answer every question for someone. But back then, people were like, well, what's it do? And I'm like, I don't know, look at your face. And they're like, what's in it? I'm like, I don't know, read it, like, so it was very simple because people were looking at me like, if this guy can do it, I'm going to figure it out. And that was really the magic, to where, we got duplication because people in our organization, as we were building, they didn't necessarily know anything about skincare per se, unless they had a background as an esthetician. But we were outgrowing people with backgrounds in skincare as an esthetician or what have you, because we were moving so fast through speed and exposure that we really didn't have time to get hung up on the details. And so I know some of us are very analytical. If that's you, God bless you. I love you, because I count on you to do your part, because I'm going to do my part in running and leading the charge, with making sure the money's right, with making sure that we're having a good time, because those are my two personality traits, right? Like let's have fun, let's make money. Everything else, put it to the side. If you don't specialize in that, that's awesome. Let's use your strengths, because I'm going to marry those, because those are my weakness, right? And so literally it was just speed and exposure and showing the plan. Lauren and I, we made over $5,000 in the company, before we actually even knew how to log into the website. Why? Because we didn't have that paralysis by analysis attitude, right? Where, people get hung up on like the craziest things, and they're crazy to me, but for you personally, they could be legit reasons or challenges, if you will. Some people say problems. I don't use what we have today as problems. I don't think we have problems unless they're health related and you don't have a solution. I think those are challenges. So a lot of the times when people bring challenges to me, I laugh, because I do think that stuff happens, right? Like, but I think that anything that's not health related is really first world problems. You guys follow me on that? And I've adopted that philosophy because you guys know how it is. Whatever can go wrong typically will. But it's all about your attitude and how you respond to what goes wrong. That's going to determine how fast you overcome and how you teach that and how it duplicates throughout your organization. Because I can tell you from my organization, people don't call me with challenges, because like literally I laugh right away, but after that, obviously I try to isolate them, but really bring it back down to, the lowest common denominator, which is like, how can we get through this and move on, right? Because again, challenges are not problems. We do have challenges because we're growing at rapid pace. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but at the end of the day, I've never seen anything that provides the opportunities that we have within secret. Until a mentor of mine told me a long time ago, he said, "Don't want what you don't want." Right. And back then it didn't really resonate, but I get it now with these growing problems or challenges, if you will, because at the end of the day, like if you joined a company like Amway, right? Now, if you yell Amway in a public place, like I was at Panera earlier until, the power went out. And then I was like, I got to do this team huddle. So let me get my ass home quick. Right. And there was a little bit of traffic, which is a challenge, by the way. But I took the back roads because that's a solution. Right. And I was able to get home and get on here. But I say don't want what you don't want. And I say that about Panera because if I yelled Amway and Panera, people would run like there's a terrorist attack going on. Like for the average person that thinks about network marketing and they think about Amway, they're like, oh my gosh, like get me out of here. My uncle's cousin's grandfather tried that, which, try rhymes with cry, right? Like don't try anything, either do it or don't, and that's what I teach my 3 and 6-year-old already. They say, I'm going to try this. I'm like, don't try it. Just do it or don't, and so they've adopted that philosophy and attitude as well. Thankfully, we're working on some other things right now for my 3-year-old, like potty training, which is a whole different challenge in itself. But I say that about Amway because there was a time where you could get an Amway and the ships would rise with the tide. And if you rode that tide called momentum, then you probably wouldn't be on this webinar here today, right? Like you'd be living your best life on some island. I have a mentor who fortunately caught that second momentum wave in Amway, because Amway is one of 2 companies that have had 2 momentum waves, the other being Nu Skin. And I call him my rich dad, but the guy made over $30 million in Amway. And you know, great, phenomenal dude. You know, he's still a mentor today. We still keep in touch, and I call him when I'm seeking solutions to my challenges because I know he has already experienced that. Now, if he actually didn't have those solutions to my challenges, I wouldn't waste my time calling him. Why? Because most people, unfortunately, nowadays, they hang out with the people that have those same challenges. And so they don't get solutions. They're actually not even productive. They're busy because they're focusing on things that are costing them instead of focusing on things that are paying them. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Right? I know you guys would agree with that. And so when we narrow this thing down, right? Like I typically, when I'm sponsoring someone, I don't use the word recruit. I like to say sponsor, because if you recruit someone, you're just getting them in. But if you're sponsoring them, it's all about developing, right? And sponsoring starts when they sign that application, because it's really just a written agreement for you to keep sponsoring them over and over and over until they either succeed or quit. And so, you know, in saying that, you know, sponsoring people it's really about, you know, inoculating them, helping them see a picture up front. Because if they can see the value of what we have, then, and it's clear, then they'll be willing to pay the price. But if we're not painting that picture clear enough for them to see it, then no wonder they're not going to get on a Wednesday huddle at noon, because they don't actually believe it's a solution and a clear path for them to pay the price. Does that make sense? Right? So if we can simplify this process, right, and help them inspect the things that they expect to happen, and we can inoculate them on the front end, then guess what? Then challenges don't become problems on the back end, because up front we already went over that with them. You guys follow me on that? So yes, I know there's challenges. I know there's shipping issues. I know some orders are still stuck in pending. But at the end of the day, guess what, guys? We're business owners. Now, do we own Secret? No, for sure not, right? Like, our last name isn't Ben Shabbat. I've tried to apply for it, you know, to change my name, like Ben, you know, maybe I'll throw Shabbat as like my middle name or something. But I don't have ownership in Secret. But Secret has allowed me, thankfully, to put overalls on that money and send it out so it comes back with more money. So it's allowed me to become what I call an entrepreneur and a business owner, because I've leveraged that through this actual system. Because everything in this, there's really nothing up for chance, right? Like, the numbers are the numbers, the activity is the activity. An example I always like to use is this basement, for example, that Ruth and I were talking about at the beginning here. So I actually finished this basement with my dad back in October, November. It took us 2 months. Thankfully, it was before a sheet of a sheet of plywood cost $1,000, right? Like, who the hell could have forecasted that, right? But, you know, like, we were able to get it done pretty cheap, thankfully. And, you know, I did the electrical work. I was the guy holding up the sheets of plywood. So my dad was like screwing them in. I'm on the ladder. It was awkward. For sure, should not have been doing any of that. But I used to do electrical work back in the day. So thankfully, those skills are still around. But when it came time to paint this place, you know, and I'll relate this to like your end game, right? Whatever your end game is, whether it's your goals, your dreams, if you want to retire from your 9 to 5, right? Well, guess what? Then you need to work more on your 5 to 9, right? To replace the other. But if this is your vehicle that's going to deliver everything you want out of your life, which is ultimately a decision, you know, then, well, we got to figure out the action steps so you can actually see what it's going to take to pay the price up front, because then you'll do it if you have that clarity. Now, again, the paint that it takes to paint this place, if that is actually your goals and your dreams, right, is to finish this basement, right? Maybe that's your ultimate dream lifestyle, right? Whatever that is to you. Well, the amount of paint that it takes to finish this basement doesn't change. The amount of brush strokes that it takes to actually finish the basement doesn't change, right? Well, what's the only variable? The only variable of finishing the paint in this basement to complete it would be the amount of time that it takes for you to paint the basement. Are you guys following me there? Right? So then the only variable is, if I gave you maybe a month to do it, could you do it part-time, spare time around your crazy busy schedule, right? Some people say, oh, I got kids, I can't do it. Like, having kids is a disease, when it actually should be our reason to do this business, not our excuse why we shouldn't, right? Like, or I got a dog that won't leave me alone, for sure. He's a reason why I do secret, not why I don't do it, you know? So, or not my excuse why I don't. But at the end of the day, if you had 3 weeks to paint the basement, could you do it? For sure. If you had 2 weeks or a week, what if I gave you literally 48 hours? Could you paint this basement? Yep. Genevieve's like, yeah, for sure I could do it. Me too, right? So what is that only variable? Again, us, right? So hitting Crown Royale, for example, how many guys want to hit Crown Royale? Right? Like literally. And maybe for those of you that don't have your camera on, you're raising your hand, or maybe you just didn't raise your hand because again, you don't have the clarity to believe that you can do it. So you're not paying the price to do it, which I get that, you know, like I get that. That's a challenge. That's not a problem. So hopefully your sponsor and your upline, Ruby, Diamond, Blue Diamond, or Crown Royale can help you figure out what clarity you need so you pay the price. Does that make sense? Right? And so again, this basement, if I gave you a day to do it, Genevieve, could you do it in 24 hours?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. She's like, hell yeah, let's do it. Well, next time I do a project at my home, I'm going to bring you up and we will get it done in 24 hours. So, but again, you know, it's really, it boils down to your belief, but even more so, because if your belief is where it needs to be, then guess what else? It's going to come down to the activity. But we also have distractions, don't we? We have distractions, you know? The distraction for me would be Panera's power going out, right? Would be Panera's internet going out, would be the traffic to get home, to get on this huddle, to make sure that it was able to take place today, right? Like that's a distraction. You know, my 3 and 6 year old, you know, distractions. I mean, yeah, maybe, right? Like, you know, it's they can for sure be distractions when they want to play with Peppa Pig and I'm down here doing a webinar, right? But they don't understand that daddy needs to do work to provide the lifestyle that they want, right? They only see Peppa Pig, you know? So, but they're my reasons, not my excuses. And so we all have distractions, they're all equal. But guess what? You have to eliminate them. You have to prioritize them. You know, you can't let them become distractions, right? Because you will always get what you focus on. If you're focusing on exposures, right? And you're focusing on follow-ups, and then all you're doing is showing the plan and collecting decisions, whether it's in person or whether it's using an ATM group, right? Which is what I prefer to do. You know, let the tech do the work. You know, I still use the human touch and the human element of actually caring about people and checking in with them and doing the exposures, you know, to figure out if they're open. But I'm not trying to open a closed door. I'm going to move on to the next person that's open and looking, right? So what's it going to take for you? You know, what is that 100, you know, exposure level? How fast can you get 100 people to say no to you? I challenge you that you actually can't get 100 people to say no to you, you know, because you're going to have people that say yes to you in between. Now, think about this, for example, even if we told someone that, you know, our company, you know, is the worst thing in the world, it's the biggest scam. By the way, we sell, you know, crap in a can with a label, but the BV is amazing, right? But the opportunity is huge. Statistically speaking, you'd still have some crazy people out there that would want to join you and make money, unfortunately, right? Because it's always a ratio. And how do you create your ratios and increase them? Doing more exposures, sharing the plan more, right? Whether, again, it's in person or online, and collecting more decisions, letting people get in where they fit in, right? And again, you're sponsoring them. They're literally giving you a written agreement to keep re-sponsoring them over and over and over and over and over again until they either decide to succeed or decide to quit. You guys follow me on that? And so whatever tool you use is whatever tool you use. Here's what I encourage you to do. Be okay with being bad before you're willing to be good. It actually plays into your favor. Because let's say, for example, and I keep using Ruth, but you know, if I'm trying to you know, talk to Ruth about my company, well, first I'm going to connect with her, right, and build rapport, and then I'm going to pop that question. Hey, Ruth, are you open to making additional income on the side of what you got going on if it didn't interfere with your crazy busy schedule? Right? She's either going to say 3 things: yes, no, or what is it? If it's no, I'm going to say, okay, great. Hey, if you run across anyone, just let me know. I would love a connection. Now that's my go-to. People have their own nuances. Figure out what you say and then say it more than anyone else, right? And if she says yes, or if she says, what is it? I'm going to say, awesome, right? I'm going to say, hey, I got this informational group I can add you to. It's on Facebook, by the way. Just do me a favor and, let me know when you accept the invite, because I'll tag you in a few things that'll give you the info. And you know what? Like, we'll connect later on today and see if you got any questions, right? Just simple stuff like that. Now that's my verbiage. It works. Why does it work? Because I've done it over and over and over again, and I've messed it up more than I've made it right. And in messing it up, people have laughed at me. They've laughed with me. I don't give a shit which one they do, because they're laughing. And when people laugh and they have a good time, right? If the information is for them, then guess what? We can push the ball forward. Now, here's what I know too. Over 90% of people don't do anything the first time. Most people actually won't even look at the information, even though they told you yes. Do you know why? Because they have distractions, right? And so they're actually counting on you to follow up. Most of us don't follow up because our belief is either isn't high enough in the information to follow up, to get them to, put the card out, right? To put BV in the tree and place an order. Or even worse, right? We forget because we're not tracking our numbers, because we're treating this like a hobby and not a business. And therefore it's costing us like a hobby and it's not paying us like a business. You guys follow me on that? Right? So, but when we decide to go pro, as Eric Worre says, treat this like a business, and we inspect our numbers, then we're going to get better results. And through that, we're going to get better quality individuals who come on board, because our belief is going to be higher. So we're going to talk to people that are actually we respect, and we're going to get people that treat it more like a business, and then it's going to pay us everlasting. And guess what? We're going to achieve those goals that we say that we want. You guys follow me on that? And so people say, well, 10 in play right away and 2 a day. Yeah, for sure. That's simple. As someone that's been in this industry for a long time, I would say that's easy to do. Ruth, would you say that's easy to do? Trish, 10 in play right away and 2 a day, right? So very easy to do. Part-time, spare time, even no time. You could do it if you really wanted to do that. But again, maybe if we're not doing those types of numbers as a spare time, part-time, no time, secret agent, then maybe we need to get clarity. So if we get that clarity, then we understand that we'll pay the price, because we understand that on the other side of that pain of paying that price is the actual lifestyle that we said we want to our sponsor when we signed up and allowed them to sponsor us. So you guys follow me on that? So whatever it is for you, whatever questions you have to get answered, whatever, basement you have to paint, right? Or figure out what it's going to take to paint in order to get that dream lifestyle, I would encourage you to make a decision and then reach out to your sponsor and figure out how you can do it, right? And then you plan your work and you work your plan. And that's it. And it's never going to go exactly how we plan it, just so you guys know. Actually, you're going to be off course most of the time. But it's like an airplane. If an airplane took off in Baltimore, which is the closest airport to me, right? And these pilots, because you guys know, getting the plane off the runway takes most of the fuel. That's what takes most of the pilot's skills, right? But once you get up to that cruising altitude, guess what? It's called cruising altitude for a reason, right? Because all the pilots are doing is they're making course correction to make sure they're staying on target with their coordinates. These coordinates would be the landing spot, their destination. So whatever your destination is, all we're doing once we're up in the air is cruising, right? And so, but if you're checking on those destinations, those coordinates, to make sure you're landing where you want to land, well, if you're off course by 1%, you're going to end up in a different airport, a different state, a different country, even a different continent if you're not careful, right? So we're always, again, inspecting what we expect to make sure our landing destination is where we want. In this case, it would be your dream lifestyle. And so whatever tools you need to use, right? Again, whether it's a wow party, spa party, sit down party, I don't even care what kind of party, right? Or whether it's online using an ATM group, or whether it's using a share secret app. There's so many different tools that you can use. At the end of the day, again, get good at using whatever you're going to use, right? If you're bringing on people and you're sponsoring people that want to focus on skincare, well, guess what? Help them do that. If they want to focus on nutrition, do the same, right? If they want to focus on Club Secret, by all means. Now, as us that want to be leaders, you can't expect to hit Crown Royale without helping people focus on their strengths and what they want to focus on. So I would encourage you to get good at all three, but just understand it's going to be a process, okay? And so, enjoy that process. Most of the time, guys, the things that we're going through, we need to grow through because they're not even for us. They're for the future Crown Royales that are going to come through our organization. They don't even know about Secret just yet. But obviously, you have to stay the course and just focus on the activity because the results will come and those future Crown Royales will come too, just as long as you're marrying the activity and divorcing the results. And so that's all I got for today. I'll pass it over. Ruth, do you have anything you'd like to add?
That was awesome, Ben. Thank you so much for that training and inspiration. I really loved what you said about follow-up, because I think especially in the online space, when we're meeting people and ATMing people, we assume they're watching what we've tagged them in. And 98% of the time they haven't. So we have to remind them. So get organized with who you ATM, remind them, stay in touch with them. And that's how you're going to grow your business.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And Trish?
Sure. Well, first of all, Ben, thank you. I love everything that you shared. And I love the analogy you gave too with the time frame of painting the business, right? Because that is so true. We just, whatever time we have, we fill. And when we're forced to get something done in a shorter period of time, we can do it. We just don't make ourselves do it. And when we can work our business in a way where things need to happen a little bit faster, it's amazing how things can happen. And I think the end of our week is always a great example, because it seems to me that 90% of all the orders that come in for the week come in on Monday. Although we've got 7 days, they all come in on Monday. And which is what bogs down the system. And then we all freak out because it doesn't catch up and we have no idea what our volume is. But, that's how it is. So I thought that was a great analogy, and overall, just a very inspired training. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Trish. Hey, Rob, I see your picture, but I don't know if you're able. Obviously, if you are, I'd love to hear from you. There he is.
Yeah, sorry, I'm dealing with some insurance stuff, so you know how that goes. But
Hey,
no, that was it was definitely a good training, and I appreciate you being out here. You always make me smile when you speak, man. I enjoy the heart and the soul that you put into what you say and the power behind it. So thank you for all you do, man. And I'm hoping to see you at boot camp soon, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. I can't wait. So
Looking forward to it.
It's always tough to leave the girls for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Trust me, we're in opposite position now. Our girls are leaving us.
I know. I keep saying it. Yeah, it's so yeah. I don't want that day to happen. But yeah. So I mean, but it's a necessary, right? Like I don't like leaving the girls. Like they've never seen daycare. Like we're very fortunate, but we also work our asses off.
Oh yeah.
To make it happen, right? Because to think that you could do that, like it's. I don't know anywhere else other than the relationship marketing industry or profession, if you will, right? That you could design your life around business instead of you could design your business around your life instead of your life around your business, right? Like,
sure.
Like, and so there is a price to pay, and some of us are paying the price. It's just not, and we've been paying the price. It's just using a vehicle that's not going to deliver us to our dream lifestyle. Right. So like, here's a test for you guys to figure out if you need to come to boot camp. And the price goes up Saturday. So if you're going to go, like, or if there's a chance you're going to go, you might as well register now and save the money. The money's the money, right? Like, so it's, but look, if you have a job, right? For example, I'm not knocking jobs. I think until you're at least at the ruby or diamond level, you should have a job. And I also believe that extra is great, right? Like if you love what you do, continue to do it. Why should you not? Even if it is a job, like do what you love and what makes you happy. Okay. Because, obviously we don't know when, the end date is. We obviously know our born date, but that dash in between, whatever happiness is to you, make it that dash, right? Like that should happen. But at the end of the day, if you don't like what you do, Or if you want to take a look into your future, look at the people that work where you work, and take inspection of their lives, right? Like if they're not fired up when they come to work every day, you know, and they have at least 3 to 5 years tenure on your position of what you do, right? If they're miserable, if they're always complaining, right? Like if you wouldn't want to hang around them, then, you know, that's a premonition really of your future if you continue down that path.
Yeah, if
And
you
that's-
ask somebody how their day went and they say, "Oh, same old, same old," yeah, that's that right there. My day is never the same. Like I absolutely love what I do, and it's not the same at all every single day. Does it get tedious and tiring sometimes? Hell yeah, but the difference is it's on my time. Like I get to do it. I don't have to answer to somebody. We've had the fortunate lifestyle where we've never missed any of our kids' stuff. Like our kids do a lot of stuff with us. We never had to put them in daycare, never had to really, it's been awesome for what this business and what this industry has allowed us to do. So would not change it for absolutely anything in the world, for sure.
Yeah. Or Rob, even worse, when you ask someone how they're doing and they're like, "Oh, hanging on." I'm like, well, shit, don't let go. You know what I mean? Like things could get interesting then, you know, like, and then people like, it's funny because they'll be like, "Wait, don't let go." Oh, I said, "Oh, okay." You know? So, but yeah, man, it's just like, you know, if you see these people that have 3 to 5 years tenure on you and they're miserable, then you need to go to boot camp, right? Like, because at boot camp is the solutions to help you get out of that, because otherwise you're going to continue down that same path, right? And I'm not saying quit tomorrow, this, that, or the other. What I am saying is be resourceful. You know, same thing with my girls. You know, they always ask like, "Daddy, can you do this? Can you help there? Can you, you know, do this, that, or the other?" And the first thing I say is, "Can you figure it out or be resourceful?" That's always my reply. Why? Because if I'm always figuring it out for them, then guess what? They're going to always ask. Same thing within your business and your life. You know, like if you're not being resourceful and figuring it out, then you're dependent. And how many of us want to hit Crown Royale again? All of us. But do you think that you can hit Crown Royale if you're a dependent person? Probably not. You know, that would be a false expectation. So I'm not saying to overnight, like become independent. What I'm saying is just like 10 and play right away and 2 a day, like literally, you know, do whatever you need to do to help you, you know, start getting the ball rolling, continuing the momentum. And then obviously do more, right? Be full-time in your part-time. Most of us don't have all day to build a business. Most of us even full-time aren't building the business all day anyway. You guys follow me? We're just doing it here and there around our life because we're able to do that, because we paid the price up front, because most of us are going to pay the price on the back end because we're escaping the life that we weren't willing to do the activity for up front. You guys follow me? So, you know, if you want to make it happen, you got to make it happen. How do we make it happen? I don't know. Figure it out. Be resourceful, right? Like people say, well, boot camp's too expensive. I would venture to say that it's actually the decision you're not making is too expensive, you know? Where people say, well, I haven't done my exposures. It's not too late, right? You know, like I've ATM people at traffic lights waiting on red lights to turn green. I don't know, because I copy and paste the same message. Now I'm genuine about that message, but guess what? Still the same shit, right? All I'm doing is asking if they're open to share the plan to collect decisions. How fast do you want to do that? I don't know. How fast do you want to paint the basement? I don't know. So, but again, the work is the work. Yep, invest in your business. And that's the name of the game. Stop spending time, start investing time. And literally, you can build your business around your life and not your life around your business. And so hope this resonates with you guys. That's all I got for today. I'll go ahead and get this link uploaded and post it in the group chats and also the Facebook page. I know Kara's still on vacation, which she truly deserves, but gosh, we miss her. And so I appreciate you guys. Get your 2 done today. It's still early. Do 5, do 10, do 20. Okay, just do more and make a decision to get registered for boot camp and make a decision to show up. Appreciate you guys. Take care. God bless. And we'll
May I
talk soon.
ask a question after you cut off the recording, please?
Absolutely. One second.